Jim here with an update on short-term rentals here in the Las Vegas metro area. So in case you haven't seen my previous videos, I'll kind of briefly describe the three different islands in the Sea of Clark County. So we have the Township of Las Vegas, the Township of Henderson, and the Township of North Las Vegas. Those islands have a licensing capability. However, all the licensing areas have been gobbled up. So unless you're currently licensed in those islands, you missed the boat. That boat left back in 2021, I think. So if you're looking to purchase a property and get licensed in one of those three islands, game over. There's no reason to even purchase that if that's your goal, is to get a short-term license. The ocean of Clark County is everything else. That excludes those islands. So in the ocean of Clark County, there are currently an effort by the county to offer licenses in that ocean. Right now, we've got about 12,000 different pirates running around with unlicensed short-term rentals, and Clark County is trying to rein them in. And what they've done is they provided some licensing guidelines to get licensed. Now, the licensing rules and regulations are so ridiculous that only about 2,000 of those pirates are going to get licensed. So the question is, well, what happens with those 10,000 pirates? Well, I'm going to tell you. While you're operating, my recommendation is to make sure that all your bookings are less than 2 months. And the reason why you want to do that is so that when you do get caught by the Clark County inspectors, they're going to send you a cease and desist letter. And they typically give you about 30 days to cease and desist. If you don't cease and desist, it gets ugly. They get you at $1,000 a day, so it's ugly. So my recommendation is that when you are operating as a pirate, what you want to do is keep all your bookings less than 2 months, so that when you do get caught, you can call all your guests and say, listen, we got busted, game over, and defer them to somewhere else or give them their money back, whatever. And you want to do this promptly, because if you're a superhost, you could jeopardize your superhost status. All right, so what are your options? There are 4 options that you have available as a pirate. Option number 1 is you turn it into a long-term rental. Now, here's the downside. Long-term rentals that are furnished are actually a liability. What we have found is a lot of people that want a long-term rental don't want your stuff. That's right. They got their own stuff. They don't want your stuff. So whenever we had a pirate who got caught, what we do is we slowly turn them into a long-term rental, and that furniture is there, and it's hard to get a tenant. And once a tenant moves in, that furniture gets eaten. And so over time, that furniture goes away. So if you want to turn your property into a long-term rental, you best just say goodbye to that furniture, or just come get it now, because it's going to slowly fade away. So your second option is going to be to turn that property into what we call a midterm rental. Midterm rentals, of course, don't perform anywhere near as well as a short-term rental, but it is a viable solution. The reason why it doesn't perform as well is because we don't book it as frequently, but you still make some money. A third option would be to turn your property into a room share. Now, this is a relatively new approach that we've been using. We've got a few experimental properties that are happening right now. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of data to give you now to tell you whether they're viable or not. But the way a room share works is each individual room is rented out. And of course, they need to be rented out 30 days or greater. And a lot of those guests that stay, they're usually people that are coming here to work, and they usually stay more than 30 days. So preliminary numbers indicate that they perform pretty well. But again, we don't have all the data, and so you'll have to stay tuned for that. Your fourth option, which is crazy, and you become a pirate that goes under the waves, or you submerge your property. And you submerge your property by using other platforms other than Airbnb and Vrbo. Those could include like bookings.com, that includes Craigslist and Facebook. And there's a bunch of other ones that are kind of surfacing because other platforms are seeing this opportunity to take away the market share of Airbnb and Vrbo. But I will warn you, if the county does catch you and you're submerged and they are able to prove that you were operating a short-term rental for a long period of time, they have the ability to put $1,000 fine per day on your property. And that lien is recorded against the property and it's pretty brutal. We've actually seen some pirates go down with a ship because getting rid of an $80,000 lien is brutal. So that's your fourth option. You become a pirate under the waves. So in summary, if you're looking to purchase a property in the Las Vegas metro area, then and you want to turn it into a short-term rental, then you're kind of wasting your time and effort because you're not likely to get licensed. If you currently have a property that you already own and it's not furnished, then my recommendation is to leave it unfurnished, make it a long-term rental, and press forward. Otherwise, if you have a property in the Las Vegas metro area that is furnished and it's not licensed, then the four options that you have available are turn it into a long-term rental, turn it into a midterm rental, turn it into a room share, or get crazy and become a pirate that goes under the waves or you submerge your property.